My name is Rhonda Byrice, and this is coming to you from Rhondalicious. Today is going to be a Latin flair, and what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you a new recipe I created with Brussels sprouts, radishes and onions, and a little bacon bits. And the first thing I want to do is I want to start making a little sauce. So I'm adding some lemon juice and some olive oil. I'll be adding about 2 tablespoons of garlic. I've got some salt, some bacon seasoning, a little dash of cayenne pepper, I've got paprika, a little bit of chili, some chipotle. We're adding a little thyme and a little bit of coriander. And then again, we're going to add another type of chili, ancho chili. One of the things that make this a little smoked is the paprika, and then we're going to be adding some bacon bits. You can see how this is coming into a nice little paste. We're going to be adding about 1/2 of a medium onion, the radishes, which I probably did about, 3 bunches of radishes. As you can see, it's starting to pop in color. And then we're going to add the Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are good with A and they have C. As you can see, the color's changing here, just to give it a bunch of different color. We're going to be roasting this at 450 in the oven. And after we go ahead and just mix this up very nicely, I think I would like to add just a little bit more olive oil. So this is just going to be a drizzle of more olive oil just to give it a little bit more of a soft liquid tenderizing. That's pretty much it. Very simple. If you wanted to, you could do this on the stove, but for time's sake, we're going to be doing this in the oven. So we'll be going ahead and putting it on some tin foil. Now I've got the oven at 450. This is going to be roasting for about 15 minutes or so till everything is tender, fork tender. Doesn't that look pretty? The last thing, when it comes out of the oven, we'll be sprinkling a little more chili on it, chipotle chili, and that's that. We're going to go ahead and take another piece of tin foil, wrap these up, and get that roasting in the oven. The next thing I want to talk to you about, with a Latin flair, a lot of people like to have pulled pork tacos. And so what we're going to be doing is making tacos out of jackfruit. You can buy jackfruit in the can when it's in its young state, and that's how you want to get the jackfruit. Now this is what jackfruit actually looks like when it's young. Jackfruit actually can grow up to be 100 pounds. So we're going to make a marinade and then put our jackfruit in that and then let that sit for 2 hours, or you can actually let it sit overnight. So we're going to be adding some coconut oil to the bag. We're going to put this in a Ziploc bag. We're going to add our coconut oil. We have a vegetable bouillon, which you can get that at your local grocery store. Sometimes they come in little blocks and you just take it and smash that up. I'm going to be adding some smoked paprika. I've got some chipotle powder, and I love the chipotle. I got such a lovely flair. We've got some minced garlic, 2 tablespoons. We're going to be adding some maple syrup and then some tamari. That's pretty much our marinade. This is what we're going to be putting the jackfruit into, letting it sit. We're going to be adding some onions. This is a small white onion. And then the jackfruit. At this point, we're just going to zip this up. Oh, I forgot to add the water. We're going to add about 1/2 cup of water. We want that water to be in there just to help mix that marinade. So you just take it and you mix it up, smush it around, get it nice and coated. kind of like to break this up a little bit in the bag so that it really starts to marinate everything instead of it being in chunks. And that's pretty much it. That's going to sit for 2 hours on the counter, or you can do it overnight, which I've done, and then bring it back out the next day. So I've got some jackfruit already on the stove, and it's been marinated, it's cooking. I use a potato masher like this, or you could use one like this. I find this to be most effective. So let's go ahead and see what we have going on right here on the stove. This jackfruit has been working its way on the stove for about a half an hour. This is something that takes half an hour, then you let it simmer with the lid on it. You don't want it to dry out, but we're going to take our smash potato masher and we're going to mash it. As you can see, there's chunks in here that look still pretty solid. There's seeds in here. With a young jackfruit or even a full jackfruit, the seeds are very edible. So we're just going to take this and we're going to smash it up. And it's going to start to break it down, and it's going to have the texture of meat. It's going to look like meat. It's so much healthier. You don't actually have to eat meat to get the things that you're used to eating. This is a comfort food, tacos. To be honest with you, my father was a pork factory farmer, so I know about meats and how those are made and how things are done. Things are so much different now than they used to be. So if you can take your all-time favorites and recreate them, what a blessing that is. It's such a blessing. So we're just mashing this. Like I said, I like this masher way better. Works quite nicely. And you just want to break everything down. We want this to continue to cook, so we're going to keep the lid on it. And while this is cooking, we're going to go ahead and make some condiments to go with this wonderful chipotle jackfruit. Doesn't this look lovely? Certainly looks like meat to me. So we're going to go ahead and let this smoke and cook down, and then we'll get back to it. All right. Furthermore, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a salsa. Salsa always goes quite lovely with the Spanish food, Latin food. And this is a spicy mango salsa. This is an ancho chili. It's quite pliable. You can buy these at any Spanish market. And this is what a chipotle chili looks like. And it's got a smoked kind of a chocolate base. It smells so good. And these are the things that are the basis of our foods today. So as we move forward with our mango salsa, we're going to be taking one mango, which I've already taken and chopped up. Nice and juicy. We're going to be adding some onion. Looks very pretty. Kind of a different salsa than what the average norm is. We're going to be adding just a dash of salt. One of the things that I like are the jalapeno peppers. They're very nice. You can see this one's starting to turn red, so that means it's getting a little hotter. Most of the heat is in the seeds, so we want to take the seeds out. And when we use our cutting boards, we don't want to use a regular cutting board that we're used to using with all of our other foods. We want to take something like this and use it, because what that will do is it will keep our regular cutting boards from getting all the oils from the pepper in it. So we're going to take that precaution, and we're going to be using gloves, because I don't want to use the glove and accidentally touch something and then have that fire up into my face. So as we get ready to cut this, I will show you how that's done. So we're going to use these gloves so that we don't touch ourselves, which is really smart. I'm going to go ahead and cut this jalapeno. pull out the seeds and get rid of all that. We don't need all that extra heat. It's hot enough. But it's good for you. I love that capsaicin. Very good for you. Too much of a good thing can really hurt your stomach lining, but a little bit is just right. So we're just going to go ahead and chop this up. Add it to our salsa. Add a squeeze of lime. You don't want these too big, because if they're too big, then it's just all heat that you're getting, and we're not after that. We'd like to have a little heat with lots of flavor, something to pop, but not the seeds. So we'll just fan this out a little bit. Perfect. Get rid of these seeds. All right, that should do it. Plus it gives a little color, which I like it when it's more rainbowy looking with the jalapeno. Really gives it a pretty color. These are a little big. And that's it. We'll discard this cutting board and then go ahead and use our cilantro. We don't want a whole bunch of cilantro, we just want like a handful, so that's what we're using. We're using one little handful of cilantro, and we're going to chop that up. Very simple to do. Cilantro is really good for you. It's actually a heavy metal detoxifier, so to have that in your diet is amazing. I actually put it in my smoothie every morning because I like the benefits of cilantro. There we go. All right. So we're going to take this lime, give it a squeeze, and we'll be good to go. That will be our salsa. Very simple. This is I call it an auger for a citrus. You just push it in here. Take the juice. There's your squeeze of lime. It's a great tool if you can find them. They're great to have. No seeds on it. And that is simply it. Go ahead and plate this. And now this sits and the flavors marinate together. This will be ready for our tacos when we get ready to plate them. Isn't that pretty? Let's see how our meat is doing. It is looking really good. It's still moist. It's because we've had a lid on it so that all the liquid doesn't come out. We don't want dry meat. We want these to work in a manner to where they have a little moisture. But I think it's time to take the lid off and let it finish up in a way without preserving the steam. I'm just going to turn this up a little bit and let it do its magic. You can see it's changing color. It's getting darker. The more it cooks and the more liquid that goes away, the darker that it gets, and it looks more and more like pulled pork. So we'll go ahead and let that continue to do its work. Cut. So nothing says fiesta than a cream to go on top of our jackfruit tacos. So we're going to be making a lime crema sauce. We're adding our soaked cashews. That is half a cup. a dash of salt, about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, fresh squeezed. I'm going to be adding just a little bit of lime juice. And we're going to add probably about 2 tablespoons of water and get that going. Take a look. Smells good. Not quite. Go ahead and bring down our product here. Good consistency. We're going to add just a little bit more water, scrape our bowl down, and then let this run. Sure smells nice. Tastes good. It's just not quite the consistency I'm looking for. This is a recipe you actually could probably double, triple to make a good amount of it. Because as you can see, just a little bit, but we're only making a few tacos here, so it's just enough. And we're going to take a little taste to see how our salsa's coming. It has pretty much marinated with that salt and broke down the pepper a little bit. We'll go ahead and give that a try. And then go ahead and start making our taco. Very nice. All right. Let's take a look at our jackfruit. I'm going to again give it one last smash. It sure smells delicious. It's changed color a little bit more. Remember, with the jackfruit, the seeds are edible. This is lovely. let's take a look at our vegetables. They should be just about ready to pull out as well as we get ready to go ahead and plate. They smell wonderful. Remember, we wanted them fork tender. Let's see how these look. Roasted nicely. Ooh. Lovely. Very nice. Nothing like roasted vegetables. All right. Let's give it a try. What I'm using are organic sprouted corn tortillas. Ooh. Cut. I guess I gotta heat these up. All right. So we're gonna be using these lovely corn sprouted tortillas that I got at the health food store. And we're gonna just go ahead and build our jackfruit taco with the things that we have made today. All right, so we're gonna start with our jackfruit. If that doesn't look like meat, I don't know what does. That looks like meat. And this is where you can take a person that might have some kind of disease that needs to change their diet, or maybe just yourself and you're wanting to be a little more healthier, or you want to challenge yourself and get off the meat. This is a great recipe to do just that. So we'll go ahead and dollop these together. They're kind of like street tacos. Go ahead and do another one. Taco actually really is a Mexican style sandwich. That's kind of what a taco really is. And so as you take these wonderful Latin flavors and put them together with the chipotle, with the fresca of the mango and the lovely lime crema, just lovely. Sure is very festive looking. So here we have our taco, which is a Mexican sandwich. We're going to wrap these together nicely. And then we'll go ahead and add this to our plate. These came out so beautiful. The aroma is incredible. And as you can see, the radishes in here give it that extra flair of color with the bacon bits. It's just lovely. Roasted vegetables are so much better for you than frying anything. This is it's like a Taco Tuesday, Meatless Monday, something that's absolutely delicious. The aromas and the way the flavors meld together are just incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bite. I wish you could too, but I'm going to tell you it's delicious. It's not only delicious, it's ron-delicious. Chipotle peppers, chocolate, just to top off this day. How lovely is that? We're going to start and we're going to make our chocolate chili brownies. We're starting with 2 cups of almonds. Into a nice meal, which is very nice. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be nice. We're going to go ahead and add, we're going to be using carob in this recipe. You could use raw cacao if you wanted to, but for this recipe, we're just going to go ahead and use carob. We're going to go ahead and mix that up. All right, the reason I don't have my shoot stopper in here is because we're going to be adding 16, which is 2 cups of dates, and we're just going to plunk those in one at a time. But before we do that, we'll just go ahead and add the rest of our spices. We've got just a dash of salt. We're going to be adding some chipotle pepper. And some ancho pepper. Just going to go ahead and whiz that up. Now I'm going to go ahead and start adding the soaked dates through the chute. This is starting to change the consistency. I have a half cup of raisins that we're going to add now. We're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla, 2 tablespoons of agave, which will help pull this all together into a ball. It smells really good. Here is our nice brownie consistency. It smells really delicious. Now for time's sake, what I've done is I've got one that's completely done already here. And actually this one was done with raw cacao. And we're going to make a glaze for this because this needed to be chilled in order to put the fudge glaze on top of that. So we're going to go ahead and do that next. We're going to be putting in our pan, we're just going to be melting a few items. We're using some vegan chocolate nibs, 2 tablespoons of almond milk, and some chipotle chili. It's very simple. We're just going to let this melt down, and while we're letting this melt, I'll go ahead and press this other one into a pan. Chocolate and chili. It's quite a beautiful combination. Good? All right. So we're just going to go ahead and let this melt down. And this will be our chocolate glaze for the brownie that's already mixed. And while that's melting, go ahead and turn this down just a little bit. We've got it started. I'll go ahead and take this one and go ahead and press it into our pan. This is the easiest brownie ever. If you don't want to use almonds, you can always use walnuts or pecans. You could use the variety of nut that you'd like or what you have, or you can mix and match. That always can be done as well. And you just go ahead and press this right up into your pan. It's very simple. I like to kind of go ahead and use a spatula instead of my fingers. It makes it a little easier. Lots easier, actually. All right. Quite easy to make. Takes no time at all. It's got the flair of chocolate. It's got the flavors of chili, sweetener from the dates. And there it is. This needs to go into the refrigerator to set up to get cold so that we can add our chocolate glaze. So this one's ready to be refrigerated. This glaze is just about done. I'm not a big fan of non-stick pans, but when it comes to dealing with chocolate, it seems to be the easiest thing to use so that you're not having burning and problems and uneven cooking, and so I sacrifice for that. Sometimes things do have their place. All right, so this one is chilled, and we'll go ahead and put our glaze on. If you wanted to use a squeeze bottle and do a decoration of it going back and forth really thin, you could do that. As a decorated, you can just put it on like I'm putting it on and just even it out. Do that as well. And then this actually could go back into the fridge. It would last a long time in the freezer. Cut it up, make them nice little brownies, and it's good to go. I think it's just the right top to go for a wonderful ending of your jackfruit taco. Remember, we had Taco Tuesday. Ooh. There you go. With or without the glaze, however you like it. So I'll go ahead and get a knife and we'll cut that and we'll plate it. Kind of like the frosting on the cake. I'll just go ahead and set that there. This is better if it's been sitting, but just for fun, we're just going to go ahead and pull it out and add it to our taco plate. It's cut. That doesn't look right. So let me put this back. Good? I think this is a perfect ending to our fiesta. Chipotle. Stop. God.
I'll start closer for this thing.
Okay. This is a perfect match for our jackfruit Taco Tuesday. Look how lovely this looks. We've got our tacos that look absolutely beautiful, ready to be eaten. We have our Brussels sprouts, and we have our lovely dessert. Nothing says fiesta as a dinner from Latin America. This is coming to you from Rondalicious. That was horrible. Dog quacking in the back.
Okay, you ready? 3, 2.
This is a perfect ending to a wonderful Jackfruit Taco Tuesday. Nothing says fiesta like a taco made from jackfruit. We've got our lovely Brussels sprouts and topping it off with a chocolate chipotle brownie. This is coming to you from Rondalicious. You didn't give me the thumbs up, so I know that was a
That's
bad
fine.
one.
That's